Big Drew,
Yeah.
we back with another one, episode 5 of the Night Train. We are supposed to hit y'all with one up last week, but Big Kel was under the weather, man. He wasn't feeling too good. I was doing a lot of traveling, man. I had to take a break, get ready for Mardi Gras, man.
Yeah. That crown ain't worked the way we thought it was gonna work. No,
It
hell no.
worked the day of Mardi
Yeah.
Gras. Well, the parade that weekend, everything was good. The crown
Yeah.
most definitely worked for that.
All it did is mask the
Now,
symptoms a little bit. That's all it did.
hey, but the Mucinex and the Theraflu I was taking,
While drinking crown.
man,
Now
no,
that's wild.
that's no. See, that's why it took me a little minute to shake back because 2 days prior to the parade, I stopped taking it
All
because
right.
I knew how much crown I was gonna have in my
Yeah.
system.
Yeah, because that would have been a whole different kill, man, if you would have mixed them joints together, man.
Kev
Speaking of
wouldn't
that,
probably be on the pod tonight.
speaking of that, man, tell me about it, man. You rode in Mecca and you rode in Pepe. That's what they call it in Franktown, huh?
Yeah, but before we do that, Drew, before we go into that, I have to ask this question.
Okay.
What pastor is out there in Vogue buying food stamps and buying coochie? No. If you know the answer, don't put no names out there.
Oh
But
no,
it's been
hey, I saw a post that was circulating that was alluding to that, but man, I ain't have a clue who the hell they were talking about. I was like, man, what type of smoke they got out here going on, man? Like, and that's I think it was one of my close friends that was sharing a post. Either said something about the post, and I meant to ask what the hell they were talking about, but yeah, I I don't know, man. Like I said, it's wild out here. I couldn't tell you, who they was referring to, or who they was talking about, but I did see the post earlier though.
I just saw about 30 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they said they not only begging for, I'm gonna say coochie. They not only begging for coochie, but the yams too.
Come on now, man. Hey, listen, man. The fish plates expensive. The fish plates ain't getting it done no more, man. The fish plates, back in the day, that's how the church made their money, man. So, I'm pretty sure if they are, it got to be centered around themselves, man. Got to be
Well, I
centered.
mean, I'm not gonna say too much more because I don't wanna nothing. Let's move on, Drew.
Yeah,
What were you saying about Mardi Gras?
yeah, I don't want to allude to nobody because I'm telling y'all right now, I have absolutely no clue who the hell they referring to, or who the hell they talking about. But if they are begging for coochie, as you say, and yimps, that's a wild request coming from the pulpit, man. Fresh out the pulpit, fresh out the sermon, man. You on yimps and pussy? That's wild. I mean coochie. That's a lot less aggressive word, I guess, for them to say. But that's
All I'm
wild.
gonna say is they're not using the yams for the house. Is what I heard. They're not using it for the house.
The
They're
who?
using it for something else. They're not using it for the household. They're not buying household groceries. They're buying something else. But let's move on, Drew.
Okay. All
Let's move
right, yeah.
on.
'Cause
Let's
I would say I don't want to get a nothing I don't know about.
yeah. Let's go ahead. Let's move on.
All right.
What were you saying about Mardi Gras? You were saying something about a Gras.
Yeah, I was saying about you rode in both Pepe and Mecca, and
Mm-hmm.
I want to know kind of know what you was your point of view on the float. How was it? It was a lot of turmoil and frustration surrounding Mecca this year, and being a part of it as a black man, as a black crew. I just want to know your thoughts about it. How did it go? How was the crowds? How was the treatment? How did y'all feel about it?
Well, first of all, as always, shout out to the crew of knots. I got on some crew of knots
See the
apparel
merch. See the merch.
see it. You see it. Um, so first off, I saw a bunch of posts going around talking about the parade. It wasn't as deep as normal,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, by the time I made it to 4th Street after the parade, people was telling me that they missed it because they ain't know the time moved up to 12 because you were normally the parade at 2.
Oh,
So
you know what? Okay.
I think that played a role in it not being as deep as it normally is
Yeah.
because, I mean, it lasts only about 2-3 hours anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So if 25% of the people didn't know it started 2 hours early, there go your people because
Yeah.
they were saying Columbia Street wasn't as deep as it normally is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I
so
know
what,
Fourth Street was deep though.
yeah, the fourth was, we'll get to that. We'll talk about that. But what was the reasoning behind the time move?
I don't know. I was kind of speculating that I guess it was some with the whole courthouse ruling about having a parade. There was some barricade stuff going on. They had to
Mm-hmm.
use barricades from I think St. Tammany. So my theory is the moving up of the parade 2 hours. Maybe the barricades needed to be in St. Tammany
Okay.
earlier. That's just my that's my maybe the St. Tammany police or sheriff or
Mhm.
whatever. Then maybe they need to be in St. Tammany later on that day. I don't know. That's my theory.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was curious about that. I did hear from a few people that the crowd size wasn't as normal size for the Mecca parade. But how was it? How was the actual parade itself? How was
Man,
the yeah.
I had the same experience and the same good time I had in 22,
Mm-hmm.
23, and 24.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anybody that was actually in the parade
Mm-hmm.
saying they didn't have a good time. We just noticed that it wasn't that many people. Well, it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
as many people.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
As it
it
was
was
before.
man, look, you gotta think I'm by my 10th shot.
You ain't know what's going on anyway. But I tell you what I did see though. I did see some people, some black people, because that was one of the conversations before the parade about the conflict of white floats only throwing the white kids and I mean, not getting the same treatment when it came to the black areas. But I did see a couple of posts about the white floats being a lot more generous to the black population this year around. I did see a couple of people say that, so shout out to the ones that made an effort to try to listen and change the narrative. Now, me personally, I'm still not on that bandwagon of, I don't expect for y'all to change it. I mean, that's y'all choice. Y'all spent y'all money on those throws, so you should be able to throw into whoever the hell you want to, whether whether you want to or not.
Well, I think though, if we talking high profile throws, yes. But if you riding in the parade, I don't care if the child is black, white, purple, or green. We should be throwing to everybody. Now, if you got your special throws for your family, like we talked about a few
Hmm.
episodes ago, if you
Hmm.
got that, that's different. But
Hmm.
don't look at a kid or just ignore them on purpose. Throw them something.
Yeah.
As if
Well,
that's the case.
well, I mean, we and I don't want to go down the same road because I know we touched on this a lot in the previous pod, but it's what I mean by that is I'm at the point where I'm no longer concerned with trying to measure throws from white people to black kids. I'm past that point. We should be, as a community, we should be more focused on having and creating our own to where this is not even an issue anymore. So that's what I mean by, if you spend your money, I'm not even mad at you, because I shouldn't expect for another culture to take care of our children the way that we should, if that makes sense what I'm saying, without trying to go down that rabbit hole again. And I do understand your point. It should be like that, but that's just not the way the world is set up. And I'm okay with that. I kind of penalize us as a culture a lot more than I would them. I'm tired of blaming other nationalities and cultures for our shortcomings as black Americans. But, we're not going to continue to go down. But I did see a lot of, and I'm just giving kudos to those individuals that did try to change the narrative. I did hear a lot of positive things about a lot of those floats that consist of primarily white Americans that were trying to be a lot more balanced when it came to that. So shout
I
out to.
mean, maybe they heard you.
I
Maybe they
hope
watched
so.
the pod.
I
Maybe
hope
they
so.
watched the pod, and maybe they
I hope
heard
so.
you, and maybe they came to their senses that maybe I am being a little racist. Just maybe.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes people don't see what they do in the
Hmm.
moment.
Hmm.
So maybe they heard it and realized, man, maybe they talking about me. Maybe I need to change who I am. And if
Yeah.
you learn your lesson, I appreciate you.
Hmm.
The Night Train podcast appreciates you. And if you didn't learn your lesson,
Fuck you.
I was gonna say it, but my mom
Yeah,
watching
yeah,
too.
you know, I say it for you, man. I got you. Your mom's watching. Sorry, moms, but yeah. Now tell me about the Franklinton parade. How was that? What was the contrast?
Well, the Franklin Parade is different. It's not as many decorative floats like they have in
Hmm.
Bogalusa.
Hmm.
That parade is more. You got like, well, Crew of Knots is really like the only like big decorative float that's out there. It's like one or
Hmm.
two, but their parade is more so. You got a few bands out there. Well, you got Franklin band out there. You got the dancing teams. You got trucks. You got like the convertibles. But you have a lot of trucks pulling people that ain't throwing nothing.
Hmm.
You got a lot of DJ floats out there. So the parade is different. Now the end of Franklin Parade. You remember back in the day where during the Mardi Gras parade by AutoZone and Bold, like it's just deep,
Right.
full of black people. Now that's one thing I will say. Franklin Parade win on that. Cause the end of their
It's a
parade,
party. It's a
boy,
party. Yeah, it's a party.
that I think it's the primary school.
Hmm.
That area,
Yeah.
boy, that's a party there,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
And I hate that it's only the end because
Hmm.
we only like it's probably only three to 5 minutes, if that.
Hmm.
Where it's like deep like that,
Hmm.
and like what we do is we just stop. And I think most floats just stop there for a few minutes,
Hmm.
and we just empty in the float.
Yeah.
Like we throwing everything off the float.
Okay, so that's where it ends at.
That's where it ends.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if you let's just say you at the Franklin Parade and you not getting throws throughout the route, man, just meet us at the end because you gonna get everything off the float.
Yeah, man. We was me and my brother. Shout out to Duke Seafood. Me and my brother, we set up as a vendor there, and we was actually on the field, and there was a lot going on with that whole situation that I would love to get into, but I don't really have enough information on what actually went down. But shout out to Miss Burris. I think Miss Burris put the Mardi Gras. That's her last name, right, Burris?
Christy, you talking about Christy?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Kristen Perez. Shout out to her. She put together the Mardi Gras Fest, and she had the vendors and everything out there. It was a beautiful event. I know it was a little bit of confusion on
But
permits and things of that nature.
what was the confusion though?
Well, technically, from what I can get from it was they didn't have a permit to actually use the field as far as the primary school field across the street from where the parade ended at for the vendors to set up. So they really came through wanting everybody to move, but thankfully there was some calls that was made and they allowed us to finish out the event without an issue. Now this is just all hearsay. That's why I would love to get a chance. If Christy, if you're watching this, I understand that you're not ready for it right now, but I can't wait for you to come on and be able to tell your side of the story, your point of view. But from what I can get from the story previously was whenever the previous mayor was there, Mr. Greg Route, it was never an issue. But now they have a new mayor in that I guess he's more by the book. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But it was an issue because they didn't have the proper permits as well as permission from the primary school to even be set up there. But thankfully, like I said, a lot of vendors unfortunately left actually because it was way more packed as far as vendors that were there before the police came were trying to clear the field. So a lot of those guys that was there actually left early, but they after a few phone calls, they worked it out to where we can stay. So we ended up being able to. And shout out to the city of Franklinton, man. Made a post about this. Man, the citizens showed up for the vendors. It wasn't one line that was over there was short. Every single one. I think every vendor there should have probably sold out. Every single vendor there. Everybody was there from the crab man to Dukes. Man, they had cotton candy, they had wings, they had shout out to oh my God, Miss Tamisha and her husband. Man, they had I'm sorry I forgot her husband's name at the moment, but I think it's Terry, if I'm not mistaken. Terry's wings. But man, they had some turkey wings out there, clutch. But shout out to them, man. They was damn good. Man, they had everything out there, man. It was really, really nice, a really, really nice event, man. The citizens showed up. But no,
But you
other
know
than
what? You said something very specific.
uh
The citizens showed up.
yes.
Did the city officials show up?
Now that I couldn't tell you because I know I don't recall seeing any of them.
This is my problem.
Uh-huh.
us as black people, we barely like have big events like that are ours, right? So around Mardi Gras time is the time that really the entire city, and that's Bogue too, that the entire city comes out. This is just my opinion, but I feel like once we get things rolling and they see something about to get big, they want to try to get a hold of and shut that shit down. That's the problem I have. Now, I have a good relationship with the sheriff, and I did not watch his video throughout, but for what I'm seeing, basically we're trying to get this parade canceled.
Oh, wait,
Because
Pepe?
of, yeah, like trying to get the whole parade canceled.
Really?
They had a meeting this past week. Different crews showed up in support of the Franklinton parade. But if that is the case, like I said, I did not go into detail. I called the sheriff's office today to try to talk to the sheriff, invite him on. So that's still in the works. Spoke to his secretary because I want to really sit there and talk to him. Because if that is the case where you want to cancel something because of there was a shooting, and I think it was 5 people injured and very tragic and very serious incident that happened. But I don't appreciate WDSU. I don't appreciate VGNO, Fox 8. I don't appreciate your headline. Because your headline was shooting in Franklinton after the Mardi Gras parade. Technically, yes, the shooting was after the Mardi Gras parade.
Way after the Mardi Gras
The
parade.
shooting was 4 or 5 hours after the Mardi Gras parade. And if you are a city official of Franklinton, if you are the mayor, if you are the sheriff, and your first initiative is like, well, we just gonna cancel it. We not having it. I want that same energy if something happens during the fair parade one year. I want that same energy. Because I'm gonna tell you, something gonna happen. One day, something's gonna happen. You see things all over the country, people having parades, cars running through things. Like you something gonna happen one day. But I want that same energy. And my opinion is, I feel like the reason they're doing it is because it's something that we're doing.
Yes, primarily. Yeah.
It's 95% black out there. So we gonna just nip it in the bud and we gonna stop it.
Yeah.
But the fair is 50-50, 60-40%. And that association is primarily white. But I guarantee you what they're gonna do if something happen out there, we're just gonna add more security.
Yeah, that's it. And that's something that happened out there multiple years. They've had shooting on the fairground, they had fighting on the fairground, multiple situations where they had every right to be like, you know what, we're just not going to have the fair anymore. And I like I said, I understand, a lot of it is a money thing. I know the amount of money, and I guess playing devil's advocate, I know that that's what they're going to try to pitch is how much money does this event bring to our city? And that's what they're going to say when it comes to the fair. They're going to say, hey, the fair is a headline event that brings tons of money to the city, so it warrants keeping it, but when it comes to a parade where they feel like that they're not going to bring in any capital based off of it, that's what they're going to that's the game they're going to try to play. In my personal opinion, that's what they're going to meet that conversation with.
But if you were a city official, you find ways to make the money. If there's a vendor issue and there's a permit issue, do like what the city of Bogalusa did a few years ago, I think 2 years ago, where they were hosting it and you needed to pay for permits and vendors had to go get a permit. There's money to be made, clearly. Hell, y'all have made all the money.
Yeah.
So there's money to be made. And Sheriff Jason Smith, if you're watching, if you're listening, the invitation to come on, have this conversation, and basically just come up with something to save the parade. Because the people that were out there having a good time, those are your citizens too. Be there for both sides.
Yeah. And let's be clear, it was at a gas station that was away. It wasn't like on a parade route. Like I feel like people feel as if it was a bunch of little kids running around and somebody just opened, fire. And that wasn't the case. Even though it was a terrible situation, no matter where it's at. But let's be clear, it was at a gas station away from the actual parade, while hours after the parade was over with. Like I said, even though it being tragic, it's definitely tragic. It shouldn't happen at any given time, but I feel like that type thing can happen any situation. Hell, it don't even have to be Mardi Gras. It don't have to be a parade. It could just be a night where everybody's out partying. That's just the unfortunate situation when you have people in intoxicated states. So that's are not even just intoxicated states, but just in close quarters, having any type of conflict resolution skills, anything like that. That's one of the issues that large gatherings happen. Speak to your point earlier that you said large, that can happen anywhere. Any type of large gathering is, you have a higher risk for something like that happening.
And you know what? It's shame on, and like I said, man, me and the sheriff have a good relationship. But shame on him, because the beginning of the video, he was comparing the parade, like he was comparing how World War I started.
I didn't see the video. I gotta go check it out.
Man, he was comparing how World War I started and how it led to the events of the war beginning. And he was saying that the parade led to the events of the shooting happened later that night.
Yeah, nah.
No, man. No, we not.
Nah,
no,
we can't do that, man.
No, man. Come on here. We gotta talk about this.
Yeah.
We gotta talk about it. Because look, man, and we kinda touched on it when we were talking about Bold last week, and things happen, things are gonna happen, and having a security plan. But in this case, this did not happen during the parade.
Yeah, it's hours. We keep stressing this. This was hours after the parade was over with, away from the actual route. This was at a gas station. Now, this is, like I said, that's why the invitation stands, because I would love to talk to him directly, because maybe he has inside knowledge that we don't have. Maybe there's information out there that we are not privy to. But from what I can, get from the situation, from just talking and reading talking and listening to different people, this has nothing to do with what was going on earlier that day. Absolutely nothing to do with what was going on earlier.
Last thing I'm gonna say, it would be entirely fucked up. Sorry, Ma. It would be entirely effed up that if he makes that decision to cancel that parade and not have it next year, but still send his sheriff deputies to Bogalusa the day before to support the Mecca parade in that route, to be messed up.
Yeah, it would.
Franklinton is the home of the sheriff's department for our parish. Washington Parish Sheriff's Office is in Franklinton. Just get that together, man. Just realize y'all are the officially on paper the main city in our parish. And y'all can get rid of y'all Mardi Gras parade because of something that happened hours after it. Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Like I said, invitation's open. We would love to talk about it. Hopefully, if you're watching this, you can make some time for us and come on and clear some things up. Give us and our listeners a better point of view, or just an alternate point of view of what it is that we're discussing. And also, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No. I was just about to wrap it up, just saying condolences to the family and anybody that was affected or harmed. I don't really know too much about the individuals that I don't know about their current state, which I don't even like to speak on that type of stuff, because I don't feel like that's type of information that needs to be dwelled on or shared, especially with families and stuff like that being involved. But definitely prayers to the family of all the families of all the victims. Absolutely. But yeah, continue what you was about to say.
I was gonna just trying to end it on a good note, man. Shout out to Bold, another violence and crime free Mardi Gras. Man, shout out to Miss Marie, 4th Street.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, you know what, Drew? Honestly, man, look, I love riding the parade. I'm going to ride the parade as long as they let me. But the highlight of my day is always 4th Street.
Yeah. And we can't forget Duke's too, man. I feel like, Duke's kickoff party. And
I got drone footage of that too. We're gonna show y'all some drone footage of Duke's on Friday night.
Man, listen, and I'm not saying it just because it's my brother, but like that, I feel like, and y'all know me, I don't really, and oh yeah, man, let me say this too. I was outside this weekend, man. This past weekend, man. I was out. Hey, man. Man, Drew was outside. I moved around all weekend. Kale said I wasn't gonna come outside, man. I was outside all weekend, man, with everybody. And some of the funniest shit in the world. If you got to try this at least once in your life, go to an event and just stay sober the whole event and just watch everybody else that's completely shit-faced. You gonna laugh your ass off, man. Like, you gotta be sober, though. Just stay sober and then just stand around and look at everybody else act a goddamn fool, man. But no, Duke's kickoff was one of the best gatherings I think I've been to in a long time. The only reason why is because the vibes there were impeccable. Like, everybody was on the same exact energy from the front to the back. The beginning, the earlier part of the day, a lot of old heads came out. They ate, they sat around, they checked out the vendors. And then as the later time came through, a lot of the younger crowd came out, man, and it was a lot of liquor, a lot of laughs, a lot of dancing, a lot of fun, but we didn't have one altercation. It was not a problem. Even in those close quarters in the inside of that gate in our area, there were no disagreements, no arguments, no disrespect. Everything was smooth. The DJ, man, what's his name again?
DJ Byron.
Yeah, man, shout out DJ Byron, man. He kept the party going from the time he set up to the time he left, man. It was... Man, listen, like I said, it was everything that the Mardi Gras kickoff was supposed to be.
Shout out to BPD. BPD was posted up.
Yep, posted up the whole time. Lights on, relaxing, chilling. They wasn't. They was there, visible, but not harassing anybody. They let everybody have a plan.
On 4th.
Same thing on 4th Street.
Yeah. Man, look, on 4th Street, man, you saw the lights, and they was posted up at the end of the street. Yeah. They not in the way. They not causing any type of nothing.
It was beautiful, man.
Shout out to BPD, man.
Yeah, shout out to our community, man. Hey, man, I ain't gonna lie, I was cracking up because Two wasn't letting up on Franktown for nothing.
Oh, you talking about Tootie?
Yeah, he wasn't letting up on cuz. And speaking of that, we kind of talked about this, a little while back, but how Bogue always... It seems like when other areas, stuff like that happen in other areas is never really, they wasn't from here, or they wasn't this, or they wasn't, and it shouldn't happen anywhere. But the point, and I understand the point that he was trying to make, and as far as we always get our backs kicked in for any small thing that happened in Bogalusa. It's always a big story, and they never let it go. They drag that shit, so that's one of the reasons why I'm so proud of Bogalusa, and I want to share so much positivity and light, because Bo really showed up this past weekend. And with those type numbers, that much alcohol, to not have any issues or any problems, man, I'm proud of my city. And I don't be able to say that a lot. I am proud of my city, man.
It's not gonna make the news.
It's not gonna make the news, Kel. They ain't gonna go in there and be like, hey, beautiful events happen throughout Bowl from Mecca to Duke's kickoff to the parade all the way to 4th Street. They not gonna share any of that. WDSU ain't gonna pull up and share that type of positivity from Bowl. So, man, really shout out to the city, man. Y'all did a great job. The citizens of Bogalusa. Everybody had a blast, man. I really enjoyed this weekend. Just to wrap it up. Now, would that be my cup of tea I probably got one in me.
Drew, you got Drew, you got.
I probably next year for sure. But I'm just saying, I got one weekend like that in me for a year. I think
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
I'd have maxed that out, But
and then Legends that night. Man. Look, I made it out, Drew. I ain't look. I was trying to get my sister to come out with me.
Yeah.
My sister came in town. I was trying to get her to come out. She wasn't going nowhere. She wouldn't come with me. Mm-hmm. I said, man, I'm gonna take a 30-minute nap. As soon as I laid down, I said, man, let me get up, because if I take a nap, I'm not gonna make it.
That's a wrap.
Not gonna make it.
Yeah.
And I pulled up and I made it to Legends that night. Packed.
Yeah.
Packed, man. So I will say this: Duke and Miss Marie, Duke Seafood, and our Legends, y'all got homecoming on lock. Yep. And y'all got Mardi Gras on lock.
Yep.
Got it on lock.
Absolutely. And that's what we need, man. We speak about this a lot. We no longer have. It's good to kind of start seeing the cream kind of rise to the top when it comes to leadership of this next generation. And I feel like, and like I said, I'm not saying this just because it's my brother, But I feel like my brother, Miss Marie, individuals like that are starting to really show themselves approved when it comes to leadership and individuals to be able to rally around for the next time frame, the next age of leadership time frame, as far as those individuals who still in contact with the younger generation, as well as still being able to understand and communicate with the older generation, that, you know, those gap people that is capable of coming in and filling that gap, you know. So giving those places to go, things to do, and also doing it properly to where security is there, understanding like, hey, you know, we want y'all to have a good time, but we want everybody to also be safe, and not being afraid and not backing down to allow the individuals who do want to ruin things to come in and force their hand or force their way. So that's a very positive thing moving forward in Bogalusa, to see that, because there was a void there for a while, you know, of individuals who are willing to stand up for the decent citizens of our community, both black and white. Because I know I speak a lot about the black culture. It doesn't mean that I hate white people. It doesn't mean that I even have an issue with them. It just means that I stand around and I see the Asian community is fine. They're good. They take care of themselves. The white community, the Arabic community, they good. You know, they taking care of themselves. We're the only community that hasn't got our shit together. So whenever you hear me speak about the black culture, it's not out of hate of other cultures. It's out of a passion for our culture to be able to stand on its own 2 feet. So that starts with leadership. So you're exactly right to speak to your point about Miss Marie and, you know, Duke stepping up.
I'm gonna say this because I want to see it, man. Tell Duke, Miss Marie, let's go ahead and get this Juneteenth celebration popped off.
Hey,
Let's start off
man.
let's have a kickoff at Duke's for Juneteenth,
Yeah.
and let's have something on 4th Street for Juneteenth, man.
Yeah. And don't get it twisted. I'm not stepping to try, because I think Miss Kawanda told me she already on a committee. They have a committee for that, and that's something that I hard on myself about, because I didn't even know that they had a committee for Juneteenth. That's something that I should have been more adamant about. As much as I talk about it and being more involved, I just didn't. I wasn't aware that it existed. So you can definitely understand that I know that I'm gonna be a lot more involved when it comes to that. So no, you're exactly right. For Juneteenth, that's coming up. For anything else, it doesn't, even if it's just something that we decide to do. I know me and my brother was talking, even with homecoming coming up, we have a lot more ideas to try to make that week and that weekend a lot more interactive, you know, with the community and with the people. But all in all, though, amazing weekend, man. Amazing weekend. I must admit I had a good time. I ain't gonna even cap. It was a blast, man.
We kind of talked about it. Look, people starting to realize how close you and I are.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people, I mean, you've gotten calls and texts of people just realize, I didn't know you and Kev was cool like that.
Oh yeah.
And my mama say the same. She was like, how you friends with your sister classmates? Like, but we had a conversation earlier today, and we were talking about how Bogue always in the news.
Mm-hmm.
Bogue in the news for everything bad.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. And my theory on it is because we don't have an outlet to give out positive information.
Right.
Okay, so when you look at, we were talking about the Daily News. The Daily News is our flagship newspaper, who puts out one newspaper, like a physical newspaper, one of them a week.
All right.
Okay. The city of Bogalusa, from my understanding, I was the last communications director under Wendy Perret. Like, I was the last person that was actually like focused on getting out communication. What I did was I built relationships with WL, Fox 8, WGNO, and I was putting out like everything. So you would see articles like for football, for example. For like a 2-year stretch, boy, Bogalusa High School football was on WGNO and Fox 8 religiously.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think people understand that when you have positive information and you putting it out constantly, it's going to outweigh the bad.
Yeah.
Bogue doesn't have good things being put out about them, and only the bad is being put out.
Right.
So if you have 10 bad incidents and only 2 good, people aren't going to remember the bad.
Yeah.
and you don't have a newspaper, man, look, I don't think people realize this, but the Daily News is not owned by anybody from Vogue. They owned by a company in like Ohio. None of the reporters and writers, they don't live here.
Yeah.
And if y'all don't believe what I'm saying,
Go look it up.
They done been through like 2 or 3 editors. They leave. If y'all don't believe what I'm saying, go find the article. They're pulling that information from Facebook posts. They're not doing any investigative journalism. They're not going out.
They ain't got no boots on the ground.
They don't. They just writing about what they see on Facebook. I'm serious. That's all they doing.
Yeah.
They writing about what they see on Facebook. So if we only putting out negative stuff, then that's what they're gonna write about.
That's what they're gonna write about. That's gonna be the narrative.
And and when you look at, I think it's like Mount Herman News, or there's another local one.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these like outlets are supported by, I'm gonna say, city officials. Okay, so we gonna write about what y'all funded. Mm-hmm. Y'all paying sponsorship for my outlet, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm not gonna write about bad shit about y'all. I'm gonna make sure I'm writing out some good shit. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. What does Vogue have? What does Vogue have to be able to say? Right now, all Vogue got is the Bogalusa Tribune and the Night Train podcast. That's all they got.
Hey man, listen. I mean to cut y'all finish. Yeah, finish that because that's a solid.
No, go ahead, because I've been talking, man. Don't get me started in this media shit, man.
Nah, and that's something that I don't think enough of people understand, or even if just take the second to just step back and think. When the last time you opened up Facebook or watched the news and saw something positive about Bogalusa? Other than the year when we had a decent football season, and even in that season, it was riddled with negativity, throughout the course of those seasons. But when the last time you can always bet on seeing something positive about Franklinton. You can always bet about seeing something positive about Pine, about Mount Herman, you name it. It's going to always be some type of positive statement. But when it comes to Bogalusa, when the last time you seen, whether it be WGNO, DSU, whatever, Fox 8, you are never going to see anything positive. When the last time you seen an actual reporter that has daily news on their shirt that's like, oh, because the building ain't even open over there no more. That building is closed. I think a lot of people pass that building and still think that people are in there writing and, and journaling and typing. Nah, that building ain't even functional. So like really take a step back and really think like, nobody's out here for us, man. Nobody at all. Like Kel said, they go into Facebook and they looking at all y'all posts. They put them together. They looking at, which I'm pretty sure they probably looking at whatever comes from the mayor's office across their desk and whatever they post, and that's what they're building their information based off of. And they know
Fox 8 does it too. Yeah. Fox 8, WGNO. Man, look. When Mayor Tyron Trong put something on his Facebook page, okay, when he put something on his Facebook page, the entire article from Fox 8 comes from his Facebook post. I don't see the mayor's office sending out an official statement, anything like that. It's going off of Facebook, all right? That's what it is. Yeah. That's why I keep saying stay off Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, put out some official stuff.
Well, and that's something that I can't speak to because I don't. Maybe if they have a correspondent that they deal with back and forth, or what they, I don't know. You probably have more information about that than I have.
Why would I have more information on that, Drew? Why would I have more information on that? Don't put this on me.
I'm just saying, maybe
I'm giving out free game.
You have a lot more connections in the media world than I have. So what I'm saying is I'm not privy to how they share information back and forth to the local news stations. Now, the only thing I'm saying is if they are sharing information, why is it always negative? You see what I'm saying? Like, because I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like they've created this appetite for people to only want to digest negative information when it comes to Bogalusa. They don't even, they created this space for it to be, we just want to pile on, when it comes to Bogalusa. We only want to pile on. If there's anything positive, it doesn't even register. Don't even send that shit in. It's just only create this space for negativity when it comes to news coming out of Bogalusa. But as far as I can't see them having that conversation or the communications sharing only negative things. So it can't be anybody. That's my whole point I'm making. It can't be anybody that's actually taking the time to put, if it is, they sabotaging the shit out of our name, our city and everything, man, because there's never a positive information leaving Bogalusa going to the news for anything.
This is what I used to do. And I still do it. I don't even work for the city no more. Like like I said before, my job was under the Perret administration.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I have not worked for the city since then. Okay. But still, that was 2 years ago. Man, I'll see something and bro, Megan always talk about me. She always talk about she called me T'Challa. You want to be a hero. You want to go around and you want to save everybody. I'm not trying to save everybody. But if I see something that's not true, I'm like, I can see how damaging it can be. So sometimes I see something, man, I hit up Mike McDaniel from WB. Yeah, I'm like, hey, that's not true. Don't. Or I'll say, this is what really happened. Jesse Brooks, Fox 8, he's in the like sports arena.
Name drop.
So, but hey, when
Flex.
it comes to,
I see the flex. It's all good,
no,
man.
it's not. A
You know
flex.
what I'm saying? Flex.
It's not a flex at all.
Hey, it's all
But
good.
when
I respect.
all I'm saying, Drew, all I'm saying is when it comes to whether it's sports or whether it's anything in the news, I still try to steer them in the right direction because honestly, a lot of this stuff is for clicks. It is for clicks. Okay. Anything. If you ever notice when they put something on social media, it's not even. They'll say, yeah, they'll put so much in the caption on Facebook for you to have to click the article.
Yeah, just to drive traffic. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
So we have to get to a point to where we're putting out information. Now, one thing, the mayor's office, they're very transparent. Whether it's good going on, whether it's bad going on, they're going to put it out there. Being in media, my suggestion would be to put out official statements and send it to those news stations. That way, you can't say, I didn't tell you this is what's going on if y'all run something that's untrue or that's damaging to the city of Bogalusa. But if y'all not sending them anything, and all they have to go off of is a Facebook post from the mayor, I mean, shame on them from not doing any type of investigative journalism. But for example, y'all ain't got no water right now. So
I was sitting back rolling on where I'm at, so I'm sorry. I don't know about everybody else,
but that's just something else we got to talk about. We're gonna talk about Bogue, the water, and honestly, let me see, because the mayor put something out. I want to read it to you because I have questions. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but 8 hours ago, I was talking about, they're aware that the city was out without water. They were saying how, they got the fiscal administrator. And the mayor was saying that Mr. Bob Nielsen has instructed his staff not to work with the mayor. And says the city is not in a fiscal crisis and that the city had $4.8 million in the bank and all the bills are paid. And so basically the mayor's office is saying this is all political and y'all trying to run this in the ground. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Of course you got one side saying one thing. You got the mayor's office saying another thing. I want to put everybody in the same room. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's not have, because honestly, at the end of the day, man, the end goal should be seeing Bogalusa in the brightest light it can be. And clearly there is a divide. It's a clear divide right now. And it's been that way for a year and a half. Since Tyron got in office, it's been that way. But I want to know, why is that? Why is it?
Yeah.
If it's not because he's black, if it's not because he's young, what is it?
Yeah.
That's my only thing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I feel like when it comes to a sense of community is what's lost, if that makes sense what I'm saying, because transparency is one thing. I feel like it's almost like the kids and the parents, and I hate to say it that way, but I feel like when it comes to city officials, politics, things of that nature, a lot of things should be handled behind closed doors. A lot of arguments, a lot of fights. I think the level of transparency that Tyron approaches his most recent term is okay, but I don't think the city is ready. Our city is not ready for that level of transparency. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I don't think we're currently in the mind state as a community, as far as citizens. And it's not everybody. Some of us are, but for the most part, a lot of people are still too entrenched in, I just want the juicy drama. I just want a spectacle. I just want something to laugh at. I don't really care about things getting better. I just want something to gossip about, basically, in so many words. So that's what I feel like you saying, getting everybody into a room to hash it out. Nah, behind closed doors, y'all can cuss each other out, tussle, whatever it is, to figure this out. But when it comes back to, there's going to have to be a lot of giving and taking on both sides of the equation, because when you come back to, I hate to say it this way, the citizens, which in this scenario is the children, you have to come with a joint approach to be like, as far as not only here, but also when it comes to the public, because everybody is looking for Bogalusa to be the spectacle. Everybody's looking for us to be the laughing stock of the parish. So at this point, we don't need that level, in my personal opinion. I know a lot of people don't believe this, but we don't need that level of transparency right now, the state that we're in right now. Everything is too damaged. There's too much division. So there needs to be a sense of a more discreet approach to our separation and disagreements when it comes to how things are being handled or needs to be handled. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, when it comes to, that's why honestly, like the meetings, I wish it was a way to where the public wasn't invited to those meetings. As far as when it comes, I wish there was a way that wasn't televised. I wish, as for right now, for our community right now, because a lot of people that go are not going to actually try to solve problems. They're going to just pick a side. That's the reason why, like, if you ever noticed, I stopped arguing the whole Drake versus Kendrick Lamar beef, because it's not really about music anymore. You just got a bunch of people that are just entrenched about, I'm going to support Drake regardless. I don't care what he do or what he don't do. I'm on his side. Same thing when it came to Dot. It just got a lot of people that's like, man, I'm just supporting Dot. I don't care if whatever he make is trash. I don't care. It's not about the music anymore. It's just about my personal views. And that's why I feel like Bogalusa, we're at that point right now to where everybody, you got two sides to the equation that I'm not gonna like Tyron no matter what. I don't give a damn if he do positive shit. I don't care if he, if he did get us into the black when it comes to finances. I don't care if we do have millions of dollars in a bank account. I'm just not gonna like the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And then you got people on the other side of the equation that's the same exact way. I don't care about no solutions. I don't care about, hey, maybe this is a battle we shouldn't be fighting. We either gonna have it all or we gonna not have it. It's gonna be separated from here on out. And that's so at this point, that transparency ain't doing nothing but feeding the divide between the two. So to your point, of course, keep it off of Facebook. Whatever post that you put out or whatever official statement you put out needs to be a joint-based official statement. I feel like it should be like, hey, look, I don't like this, I don't like what we have going on as far as a personal relationship. Yes, we disagree on a lot of things, but this is what we're going to portray to the parish, because that's the only way that you're going to actually get the city to join behind a single cause to actually be solution-based. Leadership has that level of division, then you best believe your citizens gonna have the same level of division. And now you just feeding into that negative mindset of, well, Bogalusa is just a laughing stock. This is just who they are. And when they watch us on YouTube, when they watch us,
man, that shit is a joke.
It's a joke, and that's my point. It's just a joke, man. At this point, you know.
A lot has gone on in Bogue, Drew, and I've matured enough to stay quiet because I don't live there. You get on me all the time. We not even gonna go into that conversation.
Yeah, we're not gonna have that one. We're gonna leave that one off.
But
leave that off, Mike. Yeah.
I try to stay neutral because I have relationships on both sides of the table. There's no secret that I have a good relationship with the mayor. I have a good relationship with some of the city council members. But I'm gonna say this. I think you saw it. I shared a video not too long ago about former President Barack Obama talking about how these world leaders,
one of my favorite videos,
really just normal people. And I need people to understand that, and this is not knocking former Mayor Wendy Perrette. Before she was a mayor and before she was on the city council, she was a teacher, a human with a decent job, teaching our kids. She's a teacher. All right? Before Tyron got in office, he was a teacher. These people are ordinary people. That's it. You look at these people on TV and the news articles, and like you look at people that are senators, they used to be attorneys. Like they didn't wake up one day and just become a senator. They didn't wake up one day and become president of the United States. These are normal people. But I will say this, though. I'm going to be very transparent tonight, Drew. I'm going to be very straightforward because I'm sick and tired of seeing the stuff that I'm seeing. All right? I'm going to start with Tyron. I'm going to start with Tyron because I think people feel like because I have a relationship with Tyron, I still can't have a older brother type conversation with him. And I'm going to say it publicly. Stay off Facebook. Stay off Facebook and post on your mayor account and leave your emotions out of it because you are the mayor of the city of Bogalusa. Even if you're posting from your personal account, the mayor is posting that at the end of the day. As far as the city council, shame on y'all too. Not all y'all, but some of y'all just there to not even get a check because honestly, I don't think people realize that they don't make that much. They don't make that much money. They may make $12,000 a year doing that. They all have other jobs, Drew. I feel like the majority are up there for power. It's just power. Gloria Case don't do nothing for my district where my mama live. I'm being honest. I'm name dropping tonight, Drew, because I'm tired of it.
Come on now.
No, I'm tired. I'm tired, Drew. I'm so tired of it, Drew. Y'all just sitting up there. All right? Rest in peace, Danielle Keys. Rest in peace. She was probably the only one on that city council that really understood and did stuff for her people.
Yeah.
Probably only one.
Hold for 1 second for me. I'm about to plug this up. But you can keep talking. I'm listening.
No, because I want to see your face when I say this, Drew.
Yeah. I'm plugging my laptop up for them down. All right, back like I never left.
I'm the damn filter when you got me out here.
Yeah, hey man, listen, I'm giving you the flow, man. Hey man, talk your shit, man.
I'm tired, Drew.
Yeah.
I don't even live there, and I feel like I care about that city more than the people that were voted in. Oh, Reed, why you not sitting there and being an older brother to the young mayor? Why y'all clashing? Why y'all clashing? We in different fraternities. You ain't Omega Psi Phi. I'm in Phi Beta Sigma. But you know what brotherhood is. It's deeper than that for me, Drew. It has nothing to do with titles. Man, look, man. At United, I don't look at people's titles. I respect the title. I respect what you went through to get there. But, bruh, I don't care if you the mayor. I don't care if you the governor. I don't care if you on the city council. At the end of the day, your goal is those people that voted you in there.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you white, whether you black, I'm just sick and tired of seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the mayor called a special meeting, I think last week.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't show up.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't there. I don't care how young Tyron is. That's disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
That's disrespectful. You know, when I started my airline career, man, my first job, I was not my first job, but my first job in management, man, I was only 24, 25 years old.
Mm-hmm.
The people I was managing had been with the company 30, 40 years. I learned from those people
Mm-hmm.
because they've seen the airline industry 30 years longer than I have.
Mm-hmm.
I learned from them, they learned from me.
Mm-hmm.
Tyron, O'Ree, Miss Penny, Miss Cates, Miss Temples, all y'all, man. I'm just tired of y'all being disrespectful to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all sitting at that seat for a reason. If you don't want to do the job, why you keep running? Because you want power.
Mm-hmm.
You want power. That's all it is.
Yeah. So my question to you, as far as approaching it, based off of a solution-based approach, because this speaks a lot to what I was saying a little while ago about, I feel like the transparency we're not ready for yet because of the levels of division between council and the mayor, his staff, etc. So what would your first step be? If it came to, do you feel as if it's policy? Do you feel it's egos? Do you feel that it should be an overhaul when it comes to the city council? Do you feel like there should be a change in the seat for mayor? Do you feel like, what do you feel like the first step to reconciliation between the seat of mayor and the city council is, the first step for that balance to be struck?
Well, I've said this for months now. If I'm Tyron Trong, I'm resigning because y'all don't care about my life. Y'all, I came down here and took this job because I saw, you know what? I want to get in politics. I have the experience. Yes, I'm young, but I have the experience from people that I worked on Capitol Hill before I came down here. I graduated top of my class. I ain't got to come back to Bogue. I don't got to come back to Bogue and be the mayor. He only making probably 75, 80,000 a year. He can go somewhere else and get 120, 130, 140. So I've always said, when you take public office like that, you're volunteering yourself and your family. But Tyron is volunteering himself to a community that don't give a fuck about him. And now you're seeing all these lawsuits, and now you're seeing the charges and the arrest that he went through in January. When you start going through that, if I'm him, nah, y'all playing with my life now. Y'all playing with my family life now. I have a child. I have a kid. And if those are all allegations and none of that is true, if I'm Tyron, I'm really taking a step back. Bogalusa is not as important as raising my child. So I'm dipping. I'm resigning.
Yeah.
Now, if your goal is to continue being mayor, we need to stop acting like the city council. 80%. 80% of that city council is childish as fuck. Now, if you sitting on the council and you listening to this, you know who you are. And you don't even know how to conduct yourself in a meeting. You come up there looking at your hair any kind of way. You on camera. No. I ain't talking about nobody in particular. No. I'm saying, Drew. I'm saying.
Yo, hey.
I'm being for real.
Man. The views and opinions of Kevin McGee does not reflect the views and opinions of this podcast, of the Night Train podcast.
No, Drew, we gonna talk about it. Because goddamn it, you are a member of the city council. And this
hey man,
shit
how
is
much Mucinex you took, man, bro? How much Mucinex you took tonight, fam?
I ain't take any. Drew, this is a man that is tired. I'm tired.
Hey man,
You sitting
listen.
up there and then you get mad because people talk about you on the internet. Baby girl, get your hair done. Get your hair done, baby. I promise you, come up there. I promise you, if you get your hair did and you come up there to that city council meeting, the comments gonna be like, God dog and Miss looks so good. She looking good
Hey,
today.
hey,
But I'm
Katie,
sitting up,
Katie gonna whoop your ass, bro.
man, no, because
I'm
I'm
just letting you
tired,
know, man.
Drew.
Katie gonna whoop your ass,
I,
man. I'm letting you know that
Drew,
right now.
I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of being tired, Drew.
Katie, I tried. Just let you know, Katie. Look, hey, look at me and my. You told me standing outside at Legends to make sure I keep this nigga on a leash. I tried. Hey, I tried, man. It ain't me. So, hey, if they coming knocking on your door, y'all can't come to bowl no more because they gonna be on his ass as soon as he pulling the time. Hey, I tried, man. Like that's
Let me
that's
tell you something, Drew. I've done more for that city than the majority of people on that city council.
that's
All right. So at the end of the day, I know I'm on a rant, Drew, but I am
Hey
tired,
man,
Drew.
talk your shit, man. Talk your talk, man. I'm just step out the way and let you have it
No,
tonight, man.
man. Am I lying though? When you take that seat and you put your name in that hat and you get elected, your goal at the very beginning should be the people. And you need to hold that and you need to keep that goal throughout. And what I think is people get in the mix and they only think about the power that's behind it. And then here we are. There's no respect in none of those council meetings. They look at Tyron like he a child. And I think now is just time that if you in Bogalusa and you care about your city and you live in these districts where you got councilmen and women that are doing nothing for your district, get your ducks in a row, get your affairs in order, and run against their ass and get them out the door. Because look at what they've done for you thus far. They ain't done nothing.
Yeah.
They ain't done nothing.
Yeah. So you speaking of like a complete overhaul then, as
But
far
this
as
goes, yeah, it goes to your point, Drew. You talk about how the city, like the citizens, we don't come in and we don't take control of what we have. And I think people need to understand that you control it when you vote. You control a lot of the stuff that's going on, a lot of the budget not being passed and all this other stuff. You can look at it and say it's tiring, but these are people y'all voted in that's not passing it. So if you have that same passion of getting Bogalusa to be the cream of the crop like it was back in the 60s, 70s, whatever, if you have that passion, run against their ass and get them out the door. Stop complaining on Facebook. Stop talking about what these council people ain't doing for you in your community. Run
yeah,
against them.
that's kind of like what I was trying to figure out is but I feel like that's the issue that we kind of running into because finding qualified individuals for that to be the case, I think is the issue, and then too, I think it's a morale thing when it comes to Bogalusa. I feel like people don't really have the true pride of what it when it comes to being a part of Bogalusa. I think they love it as far as the humor and the enjoyment aspect of it, but to actually see Bogalusa progress, I just don't think people have. It's not that they don't want to see it happen. I just feel like they don't have the mental fortitude to be like, oh, I know what I'm about to go against the minute I take this seat, if that makes sense. They don't want to deal with the level of stress, that comes along with that change here. They know what it takes in order for that to be the case. So finding the qualified candidates, I feel like would be one of the hard issues that we would have when it comes to opposing these individuals that, you say are not making the changes that they should be making. Where would we even find those candidates?
Y'all ain't gonna be satisfied until I move back home.
Yeah. That sounds like you throwing your hat in the ring to me, man. But we ain't
Man,
gonna talk
that's not
about
what
that.
I said.
We're gonna
All
talk
I'm
about that
saying
later.
is y'all not gonna be satisfied
Mm-hmm.
until, because right now the people I see sitting at the table ain't worth shit.
Okay.
I'm sorry, and I'm not talking about. Look, I'm not talking about all of them. You know who I'm gonna say I'm not talking about? I'm not talking about Miss Temples.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about Miss Temples.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about her.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just to the point to where, look, man, my goal since 2020 has been getting Bogalusa back on track.
Mm-hmm.
And some good things, more good things have happened than bad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? More good things have happened than bad. But I'm just to the point to where the people that are in office right now, the people that are at that table
Mm-hmm.
during these city council meetings, the city council, y'all are starting to get in the way of my vision. Y'all starting to get in the way of my vision. And thing is, man, when Miss Wendy was in office, she did some good, she did some bad. Tyron has done some good, he's done some bad. They're not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
They're not perfect. But people are starting to get in the way of my vision. And I need the people that live in Bogalusa to understand that y'all make that happen. Not the city council, not the mayor. The citizens make that. Y'all have so much power.
Mm-hmm.
And when y'all understand that, and when y'all realize that, I need y'all to show up for your city like y'all show up for Mardi Gras, like y'all show up for homecoming, like y'all show up for legends. And if y'all not, because that's not, everybody can't do that. Everybody doesn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want to do that, just don't be complaining on Facebook.
Yeah.
Stop getting in arguments on Facebook with these robot accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Stop getting it. Look, y'all. Y'all want to figure out how to find out if y'all arguing with somebody that's real or fake? Look at their pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. Y'all just, people get under these posts and they say something negative because they know y'all about to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of those Bogalusa groups, man. Leave them Bogalusa groups alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those
I
uneducated
would like
motherfuckers in there.
I would like to see that disappear, man. I'm so tired of the different Bogalusa groups, and I'm so sorry for the individuals that's not. I know they done probably tuned out 45 minutes ago because this has been a heavy Bogalusa podcast, man. You know, it's been, but you know, it started off with love because I was so happy to see, you know, what the city, how the city came out, you know, this weekend and really showed up. But I'm sorry to those people who not from Bogalusa or Franklinton or surrounding areas because this has been heavy. We like them New Yorkers that just be on the pod, just only talking about New York. But yeah, this has been a heavy Bogalusa podcast. Sorry about that, but
I think
we just
this
have
what needed to be, though, Drew.
it had to happen.
We eventually, people be asking me, why you not talking about the mayor?
Yeah.
Why you not talking about the city? So you know what? We just gave y'all over an hour of talking about Bogalusa, Franklinton, the sheriff, the mayor, the city council. Just know y'all ain't gonna get that too often. So
Yeah.
episode 5, we gave it to you.
Yeah, we gave
We
it to
gave
you.
it to you.
You know, which you know, but it's still gonna all come down to my point. I feel like I just feel like we're not ready as a community quite yet for the type of leadership that's being had right now. Even though I feel like I love transparency and stern leadership and, you know, entrenching into your beliefs and standing on it, I absolutely love that. But when you've had a city that's been ran incorrectly for so long, you can't, I don't feel like you can come and completely uproot every single thing within the span of 6-7 months. You know, it's gonna be a while. This is gonna take a while to correct a lot of these issues and a lot of these problems. Now, I used to hate that phrase, but you catch more flies with honey than shit. But the older I get, the more that rings true in a lot of situations. When it comes to leadership, that rings true because you can easily lose the people if you take them too fast, if that makes sense. And I'm trying to speak in code when it comes to certain things because I don't want to belittle the citizens as if they're just dumb and don't know any better, but it's just we're so overly stimulated by drama and mess that's going to cancel out every single thing positive that you've done because you're providing them with something to ignore the positivity and just cling on to the negativity. You know, they can have 3 meetings that went great, but nobody's gonna remember those meetings. They're gonna remember the ones when y'all was screaming at each other. So why even put it? You know, why even put it out there? There's no reason to even have that exchange in that way. We have to do a better job at our leadership positions of having our disagreements inside of rooms that nobody else can see and understand, or give them the opportunity, and then come back to the people as a united front. That's my personal, approach to what I feel like would help with correcting a lot of this negative stereotype. That's gonna take a lot of getting rid of some egos. I feel like that's what the biggest problem is with our city council, and it's the same thing, power, but city council and mayor. But it's gonna get rid of a lot of our egos that cause us to not know how to lose certain battles. It's like, look, man, certain things you're just not gonna win at this moment. The battle is not worth fighting at that moment. There's bigger issues that need to be worked out first before we worry about certain things. But that takes ego on both sides, diminishing the ego on both sides. But I do hear your point. I hear everything that you're saying. I just like to kind of be solution oriented versus just always stating the issues and the problems. So that's the reason why I was asking, what would your approach be when it comes to correcting that divide, that great divide that we have between, not only just between the board and the mayor, but also the citizens. Because there's another divide between the citizens of Bogalusa and the board, as far as another divide between a lot of people, citizens of Bogalusa and the mayor. There's a divide between all three. So correcting that first and understand that, hey, Bogalusa, y'all, we all we got. I can't stress this enough. Bogalusa, I hope we learn this one day that it's us against everybody else. Don't let anybody else tell you different. It's us against everybody else. We are the ones everybody want to punch down on. So until we realize that, there's never going to be any correcting anything that's going on. It has to be us against everybody else. And I hate to say it that way, but that's just the way that it is.
I agree, my brother.
Yeah. But we're going to wrap that topic up. Kelvin already. Now we're going to have to fight.
Hey, you can fight me. Look, I don't live there. You can fight me.
You feel me? Yeah, live.
I don't live there. Y'all better not play with my mama, though. Shout out to Button Designs by Karen, man. If y'all need y'all button, y'all got a funeral going on, baby shower, wedding, whatever. Y'all want a pen. Hey, matter of fact, graduation is coming up. My mama started her button business back in 2004. I think when y'all graduated, man, class 04.
My graduation year.
See, man, y'all were the first class to get y'all some buttons.
Yep,
and my
still got mine.
Hey, see, look at that, man.
Still
my
got
mama's
mine,
going
man.
on over 2 decades.
Yeah.
2 decades in the game, man. Still, hey, look, those pens, they still high quality and they still look good. If you got a button 20 years ago, it still looks good today.
Still got mine. Hey, man, tap in on Miss Karen, man, for graduation coming up.
Got to, man. 985-750-7273. 985-750-7273. Get y'all a button, man. Go ahead and hit up my mama, man. She gonna make y'all some buttons for the whole family, man.
Yeah.
For the whole family. But let's do this segue. We didn't get a chance to talk about this, Drew. Mm-hmm. I was a little under the weather, remember? We didn't get a chance to talk about this. Yeah. Did you see Steve Smith? Did you see what happened with him?
With Bro and Preston?
Yeah, but the text messages and all that.
Huh?
Talking about with the text messages?
No, I didn't see no text message. I saw Brian press him at the game at
no, not Stephen A. Smith. Steve Smith that used to play for the Panthers.
Steve Smith. Oh no. I'm not familiar with it. What happened?
Man, so Steve Smith got caught in a little scandal.
Mm-hmm.
So he played for the Ravens for a little minute after he left Carolina.
Yeah.
So the Ravens have a marching band. So like he was. I ain't gonna say a drum major, but he was affiliated with the marching Ravens, they call them.
Mm-hmm.
And while he was there, he started talking to a chick who was married or whatever. And the husband found the text messages. Now I'm gonna read you some messages, Drew. Okay. Now she was saying yes, sir, and all that to that nigga. God damn. But I want to know, Drew. If you got these messages, right? If you heard these, if you read this in your girl phone, Drew. Now, Steve Smith told that girl, "You wanted to suck me off?" And she said, I did. ... I would have gagged on it. Pause. I'm talking about what she said. I'm talking about what she said. She said this. I ain't say, look, I'm reading. I'm
Yeah.
reading text messages. She said I would have gagged on it, but I had to come home.
Yes.
What? Dude, she out here telling the dude, hey, I would have sucked y'all, but I gotta go home
Yeah.
to my husband. Damn, I would have did it, but I gotta go home.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what this is something that we have a conversation about a lot when it comes to professional athletes. And wait, what does do you know what does her husband do? Do you know?
I don't
Like, do
know
you
what he
know?
does.
Yeah. So this is something that,
I was just reading them.
yeah.
Go ahead, Drew. Go ahead, man.
Nah, I'm just saying this is something that's talked about a whole lot about, you know, allowing your significant other to be around professional athletes, rappers, basketball players, whatever, whatever you want to call it. But the statement was that every woman has a price, or every woman has a certain level to which they feel like that they should be justified in stepping out. For instance, like I've heard a lot of arguments. I'll never forget one of the funniest arguments I ever had with me and another friend of mine and his girl, when she was like, if I can't remember who it was, I want to say it was what's the Morris Chestnut. She was like, if Morris Chestnut came to town, that he shouldn't be upset that, that should be her one off, basically, in so many words. She should have the ability to cheat with Morris Chestnut, and he shouldn't get mad just because it's quote unquote, Morris Chestnut. So that started a complete, I mean, dude, my boy stopped talking. He didn't want to talk no more for the rest of the night. But I always hear that concept amongst couples as if it should be, and I never understood that, because I feel like if you choose to settle down with someone, it shouldn't matter what status that someone is or someone has. This shouldn't justify you being able to step out. But a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people feel like it's like, all right, bro, but that's XYZ, or this is such and such. You got to be okay with that. Like, I don't know. Like, it's funny to me, but I don't know, man. I feel like my ego, and I got pretty decent control of my ego, but I don't think my ego will be able to. Wait, did she do it?
Did she do it?
This
Let me read some more text
She
messages
said,
for you.
so you had more text. Let me hear more. Let me hear more text first before I say that.
Let me tell you something. You asked me, did she do it? And this
Yeah.
text message is going to solidify what she did. She said, I love making you come.
Oh, all right, cool.
I enjoy it more when you come inside me. Pause. This ain't me. This ain't me, y'all. Y'all ain't about to edit this. This ain't me.
So she bringing the kids home with her.
And then she went home and kissed her husband goodnight. God damn.
Man, look, she bringing the kids home with her. All right, so yeah, that's a whole different level of disrespect, though, man. Like, at that point, I don't feel like there's any reconciliation beyond that point, because now you crossed over into a different stage. The flirtation stuff, I don't see. I'm just not. Me personally, I'm not that jealous of a person when it comes to the flirtatious jokes and stuff like that. But I mean, come on now, you letting him leave it there, and you bring the kids home with you, man. Like, nah, fam, that's a whole different ball game at that point, man. You
And then let me tell you what he did. The husband went on Twitter and he started mentioning like all these businesses. Like he tagged, I think, the Panthers. I think he tagged some golf brand. Like he was tagging all these to try to out Steve Smith. My brother, let me tell you something. You should have kept that at home.
Yeah.
Leave it at home, because Steve Smith is a Hall of Fame wide receiver.
That ain't gonna be enough.
Now he was sending like selfies and all this other stuff to old girl, but Steve Smith don't look bad. He called Steve Smith, Drew. He videoed himself calling Steve Smith.
Hey man, you gotta just take the L and move on at that point, though. Do you try to fight him?
No, but he called
No,
him.
no, I'm talking about you. Do you try to fight Steve Smith? Like, or do you just what you do in this situation?
Son, he won. He won. There's no need to fight. Drew, listen, man. He called him. This is very fucked up, by the way. It's fucked up, but I mean, it is what it is. He called the dude, Drew. And after he tried to out him and say, you know, you slept with my wife, I got the text messages, and the world's about to know. He says, what do you have to say for yourself? Man, Steve Smith said, I'm sorry.
Hey, that's what I'm trying to figure out though. What's the process though after that though? Like just think though. You talking about Steve Smith, right? And if you don't know who Steve Smith is, easily one of my favorite wide receivers. Now he gave us hell when he was at Carolina. I fucking hated when the Saints had to deal with Steve Smith, man. Like undersized for a wide receiver, but always made up with it with his play. But one of the most tenacious, aggressive, dirty, whatever you want to call it, players to ever play NFL football. At that point, if you just and I hate to say it this way, but if you just a regular guy, it's just 9 to 5, whatever, you know, like what do you do in that situation other than just pack your shit up and be like, hey, you know, I mean, you got it.
Either you gonna take the L and keep on moving and stay with her, or you gonna leave. I mean, who? Honestly, son, honestly speaking.
Nah, you can't stay.
But look, I don't even know. The chick probably not even gonna want to stay with you because you probably went out like a little bitch. That's how she gonna probably look at it. You went to the internet and videoed another man after you found out cheating, blah blah blah, and you call him. You take that up with your girl. You don't take that up with Steve Smith. Steve Smith was being a nigga.
Yeah.
You take that up with your girl. Yeah. My dog Steve Smith went from running dig routes to digging in your bitch. God damn.
Yeah, you can't stay though. When she you know bringing the kids home is crazy. Like at that point, like because at that you know that's the point of no return. Well, for a lot of men, you know, just the talking and flirting is the point of no return. Like they'll never be able to recover from that because she was a dancing girl. She was a marching. What she played the instrument.
She was like in the band or she was something, man.
She blew something. But the fact of the matter, the fact of the matter is though, at that point, you couldn't be out of his sight without his psyche not being completely ruined. So I mean that's a wrap in that situation. But what I'm saying is when you leave that situation, were they married? Mm-hmm. They was married? Okay. Yeah. So I mean it'd be a bitch move, but she can really gut him out though. Pause. But he can really gut him out when it comes to finances. If you know, because like I said, if infidelity is gonna I wouldn't even recommend that because that's double bitching up. Just pack your shit up and get up out of there. Man.
Get out of there, man. Like just
man, just get out of there.
Go ahead. Man. Because my thing is this, Drew. At the time, only Steve Smith and the wife knew about it. Mm-hmm. You found out, now 3 people knew about it.
Yeah.
You could have talked to Steve Smith if you wanted to stay. Mm-hmm. If you wanted to stay, talk to Steve Smith, talk to the girl, see what happened. What caused you to do these things? What did I do? Did I do something? Am I lacking? What made you go step out? And then if she goes, it's Steve Smith, nigga. Like, if she says that, I mean, you be like, well, I mean, this nigga he does have money. I mean.
And not only that, but he's still Steve Smith at the end of the day, man. I mean.
Man, he could have stayed. Man, y'all, he could have got both y'all bills paid, my nigga. That could have been a come up. Could have been a come up.
Hey, man, I don't know if the ego is that strong, though. I mean, you know, that the humility is that strong for the typical man. I know some men that probably would, but I don't think I could. And like I said, my biggest issue would have been she brought the kids home, fam. Like, that's my biggest issue is that, man. Like
that, and she was getting raw dizzy.
That's why I said, man, you know, that at that point, this is intimate now. You know, y'all trying to build a relationship at this point. You know,
that house was built.
You know, that. Yeah, you gotta let him have it after that. You just gotta let him have it, man. Move forward with grace and humility, man. Like you said though, he could have saved face by just keeping that between them 3. He really could have saved face by keeping that between him, Steve, and and his girl, you know. But nah, that's why I ain't hear nothing about that though. Like I know,
go Google, go read them text messages, Drew.
Yeah, and then I know that's a common occurrence though. I can't see that not being a normal thing when it comes to women working around, or just men working around powerful women. Same vice versa, powerful. Women working around powerful men. I feel like that happens more times than not. So just like that, cause I don't care who it is, you not staying, man. I know you, man. You
Hey,
flashed out about old girl, man. You
hey, look, let me tell you. Let me tell you what wait, who I flash out about?
man, I'm talking about from the story you told on the last pod. I mean, on a few pods ago.
But that was different. That was a different Kevin, Drew. That Kevin ain't have nothing going for himself, Drew.
So you staying?
I didn't say that. But what I am saying is, I won't, honestly, if I'm in that situation, because I know my life. I don't know his life. I don't know his credit score. I don't know what he do with himself.
Yeah.
All right. My life, I'm booking a trip to Europe. I'm going to Europe for a few days. I'm going to Europe. I'm going to go to Amsterdam. I'm going to go to London. And throughout that time, I'm going to think about it. I'm going to think about it.
Kev, ain't nothing to think about, man. You ain't
You right, man. You
listening.
right.
Like you listen what I'm saying, cause like I know you, man. She come home, knees clenched tight together, just running straight to the shower in this mud. And then you find a text and then put two and two together. You not, I know you, man. I'm gonna have to fly to Texas, man, to
Son.
make sure you don't end up behind bars after that situation, man.
Now, I will not end up behind bars, Drew, because you know me when it comes to emotions. I'm not letting nobody get me to a point to where my life is fucked up. I'm not getting to that point.
You not putting
I'm not
yourself
doing that, Drew. No,
in this
Drew.
situation, bro.
There won't be any jail time, but there will be broken windows.
Yeah. I'm just saying,
All right.
man. That's a wild situation, man. You know, but
Lord have mercy.
yeah, that's wild. But no, I wasn't aware of Brother Smith, making moves, man. But he gonna come out unscathed. That's
All
nothing,
right,
man.
man. I don't know if he married or not, but I mean,
It
he's
didn't
Steve
matter if he
Smith.
was. Yeah,
Steve Smith, man.
it
Steve
didn't
Smith.
matter if he was. I thought you was talking about. I gotta read. I thought you were talking about Stephen A. Getting pressed by Bron during
Now,
halftime, man. That was crazy. I ain't know. I ain't see that till this morning, but.
son, I will say when it comes to the GOAT conversation, when they always go talk about LeBron and Jordan, I get mad because they leave Kobe out of it.
Yeah.
Because he should be in the conversation for sure. Now, when you look at the teams Kobe was on, and then when you look at LeBron bringing that no-name Cavs team to the finals and all that, there's like different GOAT conversations. LeBron be on some whole stuff, bro. You the GOAT, man. Right now. Let's say you the GOAT. All right? You're in your 20th, 21st season. You done won your MVPs. You done won your rings. All right? We know the only reason Bronny played for the Lakers is because of you. And I feel like you're insulting my intelligence, Lebanon James, by making it seem like that's not true.
Yeah.
All right? Now, you get mad at Stephen A. Smith for talking about it? Send that man down to the G League and let him be what he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then in about 2 years, if he does become this cold dude, then he'll get called up.
Yeah.
But stop wasting space on the roster, man. And then you gonna confront Stephen A. Smith because you mad about what he said on his show. Stephen A. Smith is a journalist.
Yeah.
You want him to sit there and only not talk about your son? When you putting it out there?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't agree with that aspect, but I feel like whenever LeBron get the whole diva shit, nobody was a bigger diva than Michael Jordan, man. And I feel like Mike get a pass on this shit. That whole talking to the ref shit didn't start till Michael Jordan. That complaining to the ref about fouls. Nobody got better treatment when it come to ticky-tack fouls than Michael Jordan. So everybody look over that aspect when it comes to, and we just talking about personality and shit. Because I really feel like if I'm gonna keep it a bean, if we talking about greatness, man, Bron left everybody in the dust like years ago when it comes to great. Nobody has ever fucking done what Bron is doing right now. From the timeline within itself, Kale, man, this man started hooping when I was still in high school. But like that's when he started his career, and I done went through college twice and got licensed and different shit. The motherfucker still hooping. Man, did you see that JJ Redick comparison they had when JJ Redick was in? That shit's crazy, man. So with the greatness over the span that we've never seen it, and I don't think we'll ever see it again, to be honest with you, what Bron has done. So I'm not even here to argue that. The only thing that I get pissed off with is when everybody starts talking about his character and he's soft, he this, and it's like, man, every diva, every dominant player has always been that way. Mike was the worst when it came to that. That dude bitched about every fucking call. He felt like every time he drove down the lane, he was supposed to get a foul. And
But
he
that's not
bitched
my
to the
problem
referee.
though. That's not my problem with LeBron. You complain about fouls, the whole league do that. That's not my problem. My problem in this situation is your son should not be in the league. He shouldn't be. Now, I am for him playing with his son because that's a dream of his. That was a goal. It happened. They made this big spectacle on night one at Crypto. I'm proud of that moment. That's the moment probably only him and Griffey, the Griffies, like nobody's going to really understand that moment but him. But that's a proud moment, and I support that moment. But let's not act like this man should be an average G League player. Why is this man sitting on the bench at Crypto?
Yeah. Well, I feel like that speaks to the greatness of Bron, though. I'm telling you, I'm not mad. Like, I feel like that's really what separate him from everybody else. Nobody else would have been able to pull that shit the fuck off other than Bron. That's how great you were till I can get my subpar son to play for the premier franchise of NBA basketball and be on the roster. Like, hey man, I fuck with it. I'm not mad at that at all. Like,
What
that's how
happens when
great.
let's say this LeBron's last year.
Okay.
Let's just say this is last year. What happens to Bronny?
Oh,
Do they keep him?
No,
Do they
I
trade
doubt
him?
they do. I doubt they even trade him. He gonna probably be back in the G League, then retired shortly after that, to be honest, and stop playing ball all over again. Hey, this is what I feel like is Bron's cherry on top, because I feel like he's earned that. This man to carry basketball, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but this man to carry basketball for damn near a decade. You know, because I'm saying a decade because, you know, we still had Kobe for a
Tim
while early in
Duncan,
his career.
Shaq,
Yeah,
yeah.
Tim Duncan. We still had all of them. But for the better part of a decade, this man to carry NBA basketball. So, and still can still go out there and put up 30 like it's nothing. So, I'm sorry. I'm for greatness being rewarded. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear that. They want to just make everybody the same, but he's just not fucking the same, man. Like, I don't give a damn. Like, when you make it to that level, yeah, you can have that. We'll let your subpar son take up a roster spot so you can play with you. You've earned that. I feel like nobody's ever done what you have done when it comes to a career. So I'm not mad at it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think we all know that. I think everybody know that's the only reason Bronny on the squad. But I can see if Dwayne Wade's son. Well, now let's not use Dwayne Wade.
Please,
I can
let's not go there.
I can see.
Let's not go there, please. Not tonight. We did enough tonight. I did enough tonight. Please, let's not go there.
Well, I'm just trying. All right, so Melo. I can see if Melo's son.
His son
You know,
cold though. His son
his son is
cold.
cold. I
But you know
know,
what?
but
I'm
I'm just saying, if for all intents and purposes, if he had the same, if he was the same subpar player as LeBron James' son, as Bronny is, I don't feel like Melo has done enough to be rewarded with that level of power and pull to be able to get his son
he
on the
doesn't.
squad.
But they got your boy, what's his name? Jokic. They got that boy wearing mellow number in Denver. He ain't got that much power. He don't. I'm a I'm gonna just leave this at this. This is gonna be my last thing to say tonight. I just posed a question: what happens when LeBron retires? There's no secret he wants to own a team. So one day, I know they're trying to get a team in Vegas. I can see Bronny going on getting signed there one day, but Bryce is the one people need to worry about. Bryce is gonna have the size that LeBron got. Pause. He's gonna have.
I was waiting for it, but you got it in there though.
He's gonna be the 6'8". Like dude, he's cold. Like so, Bryce is gonna be the one.
Yeah.
So that's not the end of seeing James on the back of a jersey.
I don't know. Even still, I just don't see. Even if he does come in and be a great player, I just can't see anyone in our lifetime, at least, doing what Bron has done over the course of time. So I really feel like that argument is stupid. At this point, it is. I feel like it's stupid. It's a clear greatest of all time has to go to LeBron James. Because Jordan was great, but he was great for a short amount of time. I tell
I feel
people
like,
this
yeah, yeah. I
all the
feel like
time.
the GOAT conversations have to be done by eras. The further you get out, like the further, like there has to be an '80s, a '90s, like a 2000s, because the game was completely different. Like it was completely different then. Yes, to your point, how long LeBron has played. Look, for me, Bron was the GOAT, in my opinion, until I watched The Last Dance. Because my generation, you're lying if you said you saw Jordan play. Because you didn't.
Oh,
You
you talking
didn't.
about your generation?
My
Yeah,
generation.
yeah.
Because Jordan's last championship, I was 4 years old. I didn't see none of that. So for me, I saw LeBron since high school. So when I saw him, that was like, okay, he the GOAT. But when I watched The Last Dance, I was like, now I see what them old heads be talking about.
Man, listen, let me tell you something, Kev. And this is how I do it. If I was to take Michael Jordan, and if I was to put Michael Jordan in the 30s and 40s, murder, complete murder. If I was to put him in 50s, 60s, murder. If I was to put him in the 70s and 80s, he came in late 80s, or mid to late 80s, and he was who he was. He dominated for, that decade. He did leave to go play baseball for a little bit, so who knows what could have happened if he was there. But the way I look at it is, if I take LeBron James, bro, and I put him in the 50s and 60s, or the whatever, they gonna think that man an alien. And it's gonna be like that all the way up to, I'm just telling you, they gonna think that man is a monster from Space Jam. They gonna really believe. Same thing if I put, and everybody keeps saying, nah, man, they'll knock you down. But bro, do you see LeBron James? And I don't think people understand, this man is 6'8", bro. Solid 6'8". Like, there's bully ball my ass, bro. You not finna, though, man. Do you see how Larry Bird and them were built, bro? And I know I'm gonna piss a lot of old heads off. Do you see how them? Don't get me wrong. They had some. They had some dominant players back then. But nobody, man. Listen, come on, man. That's not even an argument. If I put him in, if I take LeBron James, put him in any era, man, he gonna outshine anybody that
I
plays.
feel like he would have more trouble than Jordan would if you switch the
Oh, you
eras.
wildin', bro.
No, hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. I feel like LeBron would have more trouble against prime Shaq than Jordan would have against Embiid. Like, the paint is not even defended anymore. It's not even defended anymore. Like right now, LeBron's the era now, it's not even defended. But back then, I would love to watch LeBron trying to go head up with Shaq. So you know how, like, right now, LeBron can play the five? You know how he can play the five right now?
He can play anywhere on the court.
He couldn't play the five in the 90s. He not going against Hakeem Olajuwon and Shaq. He can't play the five then. He can play it now.
So you telling me? Nah, don't get me wrong. The dream, that we talking about. So you telling me defensive? So you telling me offensively, Bron wouldn't do well against Hakeem Olajuwon? Shaq was just a different. He was a different creature. Even with Shaq though, bro. In the defense, and I understand offensively, big man and the way that they play and everything. Nobody was keeping up with Shaq. But we talking about the athleticism of LeBron James at 6'8". In that era, everything moved through the. Go ahead.
I'm saying the fours and the fives were better in the 90s, in the early 2000s.
I'm with that. Yeah.
Than they are now. So I feel like, as far as him getting to the paint and playing the 5 and the 4 that he plays today, he wouldn't be as successful in the 90s and early 2000s that he is right now. So that part of the game, I don't feel like would be as good.
I don't know. The athleticism Bron showed, that they didn't have that type of athleticism except for, like, maybe in the 90s, one or two individuals at that size with that type of athleticism. And that's what the 90s didn't really see. And that's the whole argument that a lot of people don't really understand when they have this argument with the eras. Don't get me wrong. When it came to big men, because big men is not, big men not a thing anymore in the time period that we in now. But the athleticism Shaq had is what made Shaq who he was because of not just because of his size. They had a shit ton of big men back then. It was the athleticism that made Shaq so goddamn dominant at his size. So seeing the LeBron James at 6'8", man, that can push point, man, that shit was, I think, I would say Grant Hill was probably the first, if I'm not mistaken, when it came to that height. And he didn't have the size LeBron James has, but that height that can move that way. What Bron was a point. Moves as a point guard at 6'8" at that size. They couldn't keep up with LeBron James, man, in that time period. No matter if they big men or point guards, whatever you name it, they wasn't keeping up with his athleticism. It's not happening, man. He gonna dominate in every single era. They dominate more than Jordan would in our era right now. And I know a lot of people say, with the fouls and this all offense now, Jordan would have 60 a night. I can't see that. I'm gonna just be honest with you. Like,
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. I'm gonna piss a lot of people off. You know who? If I take, and I know this is gonna piss a lot of people off, but I could take somebody like Jimmy Butler, bro, and put him in the 90s, and he would probably dominate close to what Jordan did. And I know that's gonna piss a lot of people off. I'm just saying, man, because I grew up in the I grew up in that era, man. Like, so if you go back and watch some of the games, just go back and watch some of the games, man, and watch what the average 2 guard and 1 guard is doing, the things that they're doing now, and then go back and watch the games in the 90s and watch what the 1 and 2 guards was doing. I promise you, bro, you gonna understand. You gonna be like,
when we have these arguments, I think people need to realize what the game was then and what the game is now. Mm-hmm. So you have to ask yourself, the player that we're speaking of now, would they have been that player with the type of defense they would have seen back then? Right now, Jimmy Butler not seeing defense. LeBron not seeing defense. None of these players today, Booker, they not seeing defense. So how could these players play seeing that the bad boy Pistons? Would they be the same player they are today playing against that type of defense? Versus Jordan in that era playing in today's defense. They don't play it.
But see, I think you belittling the level of athleticism too. Like the bag.
Your Jimmy Butler comment? Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
The bag in the
Jordan, no. But no.
Hey, man, the create your own shot bag in the 90s versus the create your own shot bag right now, two totally different. They on two different planes of existence. So the defense that everybody is speaking of is basically just getting tackled. But you got to understand, these boys ain't trying to really get to the paint in today's time. They trying to create their shot from the perimeter. They create their shot from the perimeter out. So that didn't exist with the exception of a few. Reggie Miller, which he ran a shit ton of screens, to get clear. But he was one of the rare ones that can create his own shot, and he dominated.
There's one person, only one, who in my mind would be a for sure GOAT from today that could play back in the Jordan era.
Are you wild?
That is like 5. That is no. I'm just saying one for sure that comes to my mind is Stephen Curry. That is the only one that I can say because he don't have to go past that 3-point line to kill you. That is the only one. He gonna run around like Reggie Miller did. He gonna pull up. That is the only one I can say for sure that will not be impacted by the defense that was played in the 90s.
Hey, but that's how everybody play right now, though. James Harden play that way. They all play that way. Everybody play. That's what I'm saying is the whole mentality for today's basketball is to be able to create space for your own shot. Like, bro, Kevin Durant going back to that time frame, come on, man. I understand what everybody say, he's weak, he's feeble, but I'm sorry. Defensively, he wouldn't have a shot with the big men during that time, how physical he is down in the paint. But when it comes to offensively, I don't give a damn how good you can tackle me but if you can't tackle me at the free throw line or a perimeter jumper, you can't tackle me at that point. Nah, if I'm not gonna play bully ball with you, if I know that that's all you trying to do, you know. Now, I mean, hell, you can score as many twos as you want to score. I'll let you. But if we trading threes for twos the whole game, I don't give a fuck what you pass it to your big man all you want, and they could back down and dunk whatever the hell you want. But just come down and shoot your eyes out. That's the mentality of the game. So that's what I mean, like about them being able to go back and dominate in a way. Because everything was played through your big man in the 90s. That's where everything was played. You came down there, you slowed it, you set it up. It was played through the big man. It was not a shit ton of fast breaks, high tempo basketball like it is right now. I mean, now they stopping at 3-point line on a fast break to pull a three.
This is gonna end this week's episode of Night Train because that comment about Jimmy Butler was crazy.
Man, bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. Listen, and I ain't know, like I know a lot of people probably scream at the screen, like, bitch, you don't know what the fuck you talking about, man. Basketball. Hey, man, listen, I stand 10 toes down on that. I know for a fact if you can send Jimmy back, you can send Harden back, you can send Tatum, all these boys, you can send them back, man, and they will be. I feel like they'll be in the arguments of just like Jordan in right now. I'm just be honest with you, because the game, not saying that Jordan won't be great. Not saying if he wouldn't be great if you came right now.
I heard what you said. But I've said enough tonight. I'm going to, all right.
I'm just saying, man, like, I grew up, I watched the 90s game, bro. They not as spectacular as people try to make them out to be. They really not. It was a lot of, man, just go back and watch some of them. Just go back, and when you get a chance, not now personality-wise, and they didn't have social media. I feel like that's another thing, too. We get way too much access to these athletes' personal lives.
So did the girl that was fucking with Steve Smith. She had access to.
Them boys were doing the same stuff, man, but because
That
Dennis
Rodman,
Rodman,
sugar.
Yeah, hey, Dennis Rodman with a social media would have been fucking psycho, man.
Suspended every week.
But yeah, we gonna wrap it there. We got enough for everybody to cuss us out about. Good to see y'all back. Good to be back. Good, Kev. I'm glad you're feeling better. You sound better, man.
Yeah, last week was crazy, man. Last week was crazy.
Push through. Now we do also we have another great interview coming up with Miss Kawanda, Miss August. That'll be coming up soon. Y'all be on the lookout for that. A lot of other great things coming up on the night train. But if that's it, that's all I got for him tonight, Kel. What you got?
Next week we gonna do the drawing, man. We didn't get a chance to do the drawing at Duke's last week, so we gonna go through those questions. If you got any questions, hit us up with an email as far as topics or whatever. We'll run through it. But that's all I got, Drew.
I promise y'all, for the people outside the bowl, we lean heavy in the bowl this year. This episode, but we'll be back on a lot more broad area topics. We just had to Kev had to get a lot off his chest tonight, but we just had to get some things out there, show some love to the city as well as the parish for an amazing weekend. Shout out to everybody that made it happen, Miss Burrs from Franktown, my brother Duke, as well as Marie for our legends. Amazing weekend, guys. If there's nothing else, we appreciate y'all for riding the night train. We had our last stop. Anything you love for the people?
All I got is, man, shout out to the crew of Knots, baby. Another great Mardi Gras season. Shout out to the crew of Knots. Y'all have a good one.
All right, man.